Aloha and Tashi Delay from Kwai Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center, Kagyu Tupten Choling, here on the island of Kwai, in the middle of the Pacific. We do this class every Thursday night, and I'm Lama Tashi. And when we do this class, of course, in the Tibetan tradition, it's called shamanistic Lamaism. And these practices that we do are to transform our mind and at the same time alleviate the pain and suffering of others and instill a state of compassion together with power and insight. And this is represented by what we call the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. In the Tibetan tradition, the Lama and the Lama's symbols of peaceful and protective deities are the source of all of the practice and accomplishment and what we call realization of one's own true nature, which is the mind. And concerning the mind, where we take refuge tonight, I'm going to read, this book was brought to me, a portrait, photographic journal of many different lamas. This photographer traveled all over India, Tibet, the United States, Canada, and took these pictures. Then he got each lama to make a little teaching to go into the book with the lama's picture. In this case, the Dalai Lama is the most well known, so he's on the front. And also a little autobiography, a little rundown on how each lama came to be and what they've accomplished in this life. So I'm going to read from two of these. The first one has to do with the situation of the planet, is how do we integrate these practices to relieve the stress of what's going on in the world today with us humans and all the environmental destruction and the extinction process and all of that. So this Lama, I'll show you a picture of it. Okay. You usually see the Lamas as monks, but there are very few Lamas who are householders, like myself. But this Lama's name is Chogyey Trinchen Rinpoche. And personally, I've never heard of him. I'd like to read what he said is beneficial. It says, it cannot help benefit us if we are able to live according to the teaching and practice loving kindness towards those with whom we share our lives, whether we're at home or out in the world. If we show more love and empathy to others, we will find more happiness in our own lives. If individuals are able to dedicate themselves to a life of loving kindness and compassion, which is simply the concern for the well-being of others, then such people will make a great contribution to the well-being of this world, of this planet, and as a whole to the cause of peace and happiness. What is called world peace only depends on how the citizens of the world behave towards one another. And on that same note, I'm going to go to the next page. And this Lama, his name is Luting Kenshin Rinpoche. And there's a picture of him. And his is in the same theme, but a little more severe. These days, in every corner of the world, many people's minds are filled with hatred and anger. Thus, conflicts and war arise, which in turn causes a lot of destruction to people, other beings, and the environment. I feel that it is extremely important for us to take all individual responsibility we should try to minimize our own anger toward other beings and to instead generate love and compassion and bodhicitta, the mind of the bodhisattva. The mind that seeks enlightenment for the sake of others and only for the sake of others. Of course, it's extremely difficult to develop genuine bodhicitta, but at least we have the desire to be able to generate such an attitude. Negative emotions are extremely difficult to eliminate. However, if we try to develop loving kindness, compassion, tolerance, and bodhicitta again and again, our positive thoughts will increase and our negative thoughts will decrease. And eventually we will see some positive results. Such results might be hard to see at first. Trust and faith are key for progress on the spiritual path. One should not expect to see results right away. It's important to have a long-range plan far into your future with Dharma practice, and not expect that you can accomplish some great result in a short period of time. So as I say, do your practice slowly and mindfully. So this book is filled with Lama, the Lama book, and good wishes and prayers. But reading about each one and how they portrayed themselves as teachers from a very young age to when they end their state of being on this planet is a great incentive to practice Dharma. You put this up in front of the Buddha. Now, as far as Dharma practice goes for tonight, of course, the theme is the world peace, and that all beings attain a state of happiness and loving kindness. In order to generate this thought of enlightenment, it's important to understand a few aspects of our state of being. First of all, if you're connecting with the Dharma, either through the internet or in person, that's extremely unique, because only sentient beings, human beings, would do that who have done wisdom Dharma practice in past life. And it's available to everybody. And all of us have the same basic function of desiring happiness and experiencing pain and suffering. But in the Dharma practice, it's an extraordinary application of the natural mind. And when I say that, it's an antidote to the drama mind, which causes all the pain and suffering. And as I've said many times before, the cause is simply judgment, making judgment. Oh, that's good, that's bad, that's high, that's low, and I don't understand. Those are the 5 categories of judgment that cause all the pain and suffering. We call that the 5 dhyana Buddha fields, because with those 5 states of suffering, there are 5 antidotes. So the first thought is that you're an extraordinary human being and you should use your good karmic, spiritual karma to progress in the Dharma and benefit everybody that you come in contact with. Animals, spirits, humans, of course, and the environment, which I consider a living being. The second thought is we're impermanent, but not just us. Everything's impermanent. Heaven to hell, everything. You know, no matter what anybody says or what anybody believes, Everything arises out of the spatial voidness of the mind as a universe, and it returns to them. Time sequential arrangement in our worldly situation, it appears, it disappears. Your mind is the same. The thoughts arise, the circumstances arise, whatever the karmic situation, and they go away. So your own situation being so precious, but at the same time so like a bubble, soon to pop. I mean, we don't know what's coming first, the next breath of the next life. Nobody does. So we keep that as a dharma incentive. And the third thing is we have karma. Now, on this planet, you can see people don't believe in karma. But karma is really simple. Karma is what you say, think, and do as a result. So just those three is dharma practice. What you say, what you think, you do. We call it body, speech, and mind. But why do we believe in karma is because that is how your future is created. You know, your present is created with your present thought. But your future is created with your activities as a result of those thoughts. And the mind is the body, so your body and your speech follow the mind. So all of this practice of dharma, dharma means wisdom, insight, all of that is about totally positive karma. No more negative. Okay? The fourth thing is that this drama world field that we all share, this world, is defective. And it's defective because it's unsatisfactory, is a better word. It has structured into it aging, sickness, and death of the body. Not the mind, but the body. And we don't like that. Nobody likes aging. Nobody likes to get sick. And most people that don't know that there's no such thing as death don't like to go through that process. Besides that, the structure of the universe is it's always changing. It's an energy field. It's only an energy field. And it's a constantly changing situation. Moment to moment and day to day, lifetime to lifetime, and so forth. And if that isn't enough, you have physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dis-ease. And it doesn't matter if you're in the heavenly realms or the war god realms or the deprived spirit realm or the demonic spirits or you're an animal or a human. You're going to suffer from this dis-ease. Physically, mentally, emotionally, if you're in the human condition, spiritually. Now, all of that taken into consideration is on the back of the refuge sheet. I just condensed it a little bit. But myself, I run through those four thoughts every morning, contemplating. And my teachers, they do the same thing. That's how important it is. So with all that said, let's take refuge. Now, usually at the start of refuge, I chant a prayer that's communicating the altruistic motivation. But tonight we're going to say this prayer. It's on the back of that gold sheet. You know that? No, the gold. Oh, Abby had. Mark. Okay, so Abby and Mark read. That's okay. Only got two. Okay, so read that. Mark might know. Okay, but first we're going to read this in English. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings on our mothers, we now altogether take refuge and offer prostration. Now the prayer is chanted in Sanskrit because that's how the Dharma is communicated to all the tribes of the planet, all the cultures of human beings. And that's at the top of this gold sheet. It's a short prayer. So we'll say it together. Dam Joa Nam Te Da Dam Dam Te Sem Chem Dam Che Du Me Jun Te Ji Si Jen Chu Ne To La Chi Ki Ga Du. Now read that again in English. This is what you just communicated to the spirit that inhabits your body and everything around you, the world. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves as limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now all together take refuge in awful prostration. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy moms. We go for refuge to all the idioms, to all the deities gathered in the all. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered the mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakunis, who are the protectors and defenders of Dharma. All of these possessing the eye of transcendent awareness. To the Buddha Dharma in this supreme assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit, gain from practicing the 6 disciplines, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. When we say that in Sanskrit, we chant it in Sanskrit. Hare Rama Dampa Nam Ram Chakti Nidam Chokori Lato Nam Ram Chakti Sanjay Chon Dende Nama Chakti Sate Chur Nama Chakti Sate Gendu Nama Chakti Tao Kandu Chokyu Chume Cho Yeshe Di Shedam Dipa Nam Chakti Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodam Chechu Padu Dadi Chakti Dadi Jetso Jite Sonam Solam Benjer Sanjay The 6 perfections, or 6 disciplines of the Bodhisattva, are the first of the 2 bodhicittas. And they actually are taught by your parents, or should have been. They're taught in schools, and they're taught in the social programs of the planet. But in Tibetan Buddhism, they're not just for dealing with the worldly level application. They're also designed to fit into what we call the insight application, because the mind has 2 natures. And most people don't know that. And religions don't do that. Even forms of Buddhism, they don't go there. They hint at it. And they give it names, God, Goddess, and so forth, Buddha. But insight is simply the natural mind of awareness, which is not incorporating any kind of judgment quality, any kind of negative connotation, which means harmful, and harmful means to you, yourself, others, of the environment. And stresses loving kindness and compassion. So insight is an innate quality. Everybody has it. Animals, humans, spirits, everybody has it. It's the same mind. All these animals, humans, and spirits all came from this planetary situation. They all were once humans. They're all going to be humans again. And if the first pair is understood, they're all going to become knowledgeable about their own pure nature and how to use it. So insight goes with knowledge, how to use it. And that's what all the sutra and tantra and the pointing out that they call it voidness or sunyata, that the nature of everything is illusory, are just that. They are just the natural mind. But somehow, we have evolved over time into this drama mind. We've got this habitual tendency going on, and when we take birth in the human condition, it's encouraged by everybody, mother, father, friends, relatives, lovers, politicians, teachers, everybody is laying their chip on you that this drama is okay. It's not. It's the cause of your pain and suffering. You are the cause of your pain and suffering. And you cannot blame all your mother, father, friends, relatives, lovers, and enemies, and so forth. You can't blame them because it's going to lay on them over time. And this has been going on for, I don't know, 50, 100,000 years when human beings started to take birth on this planet. And so that's what the Dharma is for. That's why Buddha Shakyamuni, 2,600 years, took birth in the Hindu nation, because the Hindus are running amok with their weird stuff, caste system and so forth. So he based his teaching on how to deal with that. And he walked around northern India and the nicer areas of India and lower Himalayan mountains and so forth, and passed this information on. And he did that for 40 or 50 years, and then he said, okay, I don't have anything more to say, bye. I got another planet to go to or something. I don't know. You know, if people talk about aliens, that's an alien. According to how we are, anyway. So, the idea is to simplify all this information that's been passed down by the Buddha and all the teachers to their students, and then they become teachers of their students, unchanged, no dogma, no books, none of them necessary. They didn't even have them then anyway. You know, they could write on rocks and leaves and stuff. Down to the present day. And it boils down to simply taking responsibility for what you say, think, and do is appropriate. Don't think it's good. You know, holy is a Catholic word. I was raised Catholic, so I know. But holy, nah. Divine, supreme and supernatural. Forget it. There's nothing supreme and supernatural. This universe is totally natural. That's why we call this other nature of the mind the natural mind, because when you get it, you become totally harmonious with the world around you, because that's the way it is. It's a life support system based on energy, and it doesn't have any judgment call in the program. It's not there. I mean, you can say it is, but it isn't. Rocks don't do that. Plants don't do that. That's what we're made of. You know, the air, the water, the earth, the fire, that we call radiation, the space itself. It's been there forever. It's going to be there forever. It's only here for one purpose. We are creating this universe to support life. And it's everywhere in the universe. The spirits inhabit the universe in every aspect. Animals and humans are limited to planets throughout the universe. So, okay, we're going to come extinct on this planet. Too bad. It's really a nice planet. You know? Perfect. But that ain't the end of the program. You can be anywhere in this universe in an instant once you're clear of this physical form body. Like that, snap of the finger. Believe, not believe. Just remember Lama Tashi said. But don't say Lama Tashi. Like I say, the other Lamas say. Now when we do the practice, we have to start simple. We have to make this available to the child mentality of the human being. And we teachers, have actually taught this in America and Canada, in schools, in social programs, grade school, high school, and college. I actually got into that. But when we do this, we're teaching ourselves as if we were a child. You're taking responsibility for your body, speech, mind, what you say, what you think, and what you do. And when you do that, the simplest method that was passed on from the Buddha down to the present day, it's the same kind of system that, like for martial arts and other healing programs, like the Chinese have Tai Chi Chuan. Well, the Tibetans have that form of medicine also, they call it the Bon tradition. But when we pass this down, it's totally for the healing, holistic healing of the individual, human being, physically, mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually, which means abandon judgmental mind, move your consciousness into non-judgmental mind, and be in harmony. That's what we call universe, single vibration. And that's what the word Buddha means. Bu, energy, light. We interpret it as 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. And Da is the light's patterning. What appears either in the darkness of the universe or in the lit up areas of the universe. For instance, our sun and moon light up our dark area of this galaxy, this solar. We're lighting up the inner dark areas of our consciousness in our body with this breath. So what we do is we start with the breath. Now, why the breath? Well, first of all, you can't live without it. You know, one breath away from moving on, moving out. Thanks for the rental, free rental. So we start with that. Now the codes, the patterning that we put with the breath is to start to break down the judgmental mind patterning of the emotional program that we have adopted individually and collectively at the beginning, at the start. So we sit with the back straight. Sitting is, you can do this standing, laying down, walking, or anything, but we start with sitting. And the head slightly tilted forward, lining up the inner energy centers we call the life force situation of the body's nadis, channels. We place the hands on the knees or in the lap in a comfortable position. The mouth, to start with, is closed, unless you can't breathe through the nose. Tongue resting against the palate. And your eyes are looking at the space, the light energy, 2 feet in front, arm's length in front. So you stick a place right in front of your eye, and then relax your eyelids. Don't close your eyes. Just keep a calm gaze. Because that light energy is exactly the nature of your non-judgmental mind. Then you bring your focus to the breath, and when you breathe in, when you inhale, you visualize the air element, complete with all the other 4 elements, coming in as white light to fill your lungs. The energy that's spontaneously extracted is passed through the body to every cell, and you visualize that absorption breath to be red light, either in a flash or sustained red energy code through your entire body. Then you gather these 2 together and exhale out the nose as a healing breath to space. And when we say to space, we're simply acknowledging that this improved energy breath, improved by your mind's focusing on it as blue light, is available to everyone. Inhale white light, fill your lungs. Absorption breath, red light, visualize flashing through the body. These 2 in combination exhaled out the nose as blue light to space, like the sky. Now, as you breathe in this way and become proficient in this breathing method, prana yoga method, you start to settle into a state of peace and tranquility. Once you notice the settling and a disconnect from the worldly activities of the day, then take your mind, your focus off of the breath and gather the 3 lights into the center of your chest as a tiny particle similar to an atom, or as small as you can imagine, like a tiny diamond or sun or star. Of pure energy connecting to the limitless energy and life forms throughout the fabric of boundless space. And starting from this dimension of being is the first step in meditative accomplishment. Simply put, you are contemplating space. Then, to start your meditation practice, you move from this state of contemplation by imagining this tiny particle referenced as a chakra or energy point, sphere, in your heart center. And you see this particle increase in size, enlarge until it becomes a small sphere of clear light. No color code. And in this way, you enter into this third dimensional time sequential world. And keep enlarging this tiny sphere of clear light energy until it forms one of the 5 symbols of the 5-element healing practice. And tonight we're going to use the symbol of water. And it's visualized in the heart center about the size of your thumbnail as a small sphere labeled water. And we understand that, of course, whatever appears in the world is made of the 5 elements, and they cannot be separate. They may appear separate, but they always include, one element always includes the other 4. So the space element, of course, allows the earth, water, fire, air to appear. But we stress this element because that's the nature of our body and the nature of our mind. Yes, we're incorporated as they call it particles or atoms. But between each atom is an infinite amount of space in proportion to that particle. This being our true nature, we use it for healing on the mental and physical level. And it can be applied to any kind of toxic situation or disease involving one's body. So here's this white sphere, blue sphere of water. And now we're going to use it by visualizing it moving directly out in front of the body and up before our eyes, 2 feet in front where we started our practice. Then keeping your focus and your imagination together, even if the imagination isn't working, you can think. You imagine this blue sphere to grow in size to completely surround your body, like the room you're sitting in, or an area out beyond your reach, at least that big. And you visualize your form body just as you are sitting inside. Receiving the full psychic healing energy of your own mind in union with the elemental life force support system of this world. Each individual has to determine for themselves how long they stay at each stage of this practice. The next stage or level is to visualize this blue sphere labeled water to expand in size to completely enclose this island of Kauai, or a very large area of where you live, your town, your city, whatever, inside. Then you apply it to Mother Earth by visualizing her, including her atmosphere, inside. And she is called a water planet. Then you expand this symbol in size to completely enclose our solar system. Sun, planets, for billions of miles in diameter inside. Keep imagination and focus together. You increase this application to include our spiral disc-shaped galaxy. Then move to merging this symbol of pure energy with boundless space. And as you do that, the mind cannot conceive. This is beyond the state of conceptual awareness. So just relax and again contemplate the light and the life force energy of boundless space. Relax. There's no meditation, so simply keep to the present moment. Train yourself to do that. Accomplish presence. Once you've filled to capacity your present situation with this stage of the practice, return by visualizing the blue sphere to again enclose the galaxy. Then shrink it to just enclosing the solar system. And much smaller, apply this symbol again to Mother Earth. Then much smaller to the island or a large area of where you are doing your practice. Then bring all that life force energy you can imagine, actually incorporate into you. Again, just see yourself sitting inside this blue sphere labeled water. You're a water body. Then bring it back to its original small size in front of your eyes, 2 feet in front. I'm told some people actually see the blue sphere in front of their eyes. They've developed a really powerful imagination because the actual and imagined are equal. Then the chest level and into your heart center. Storing it there, shrink the blue sphere down to a small, tiny sphere of clear light. And shrink it until it again becomes a particle similar to atom, right in the center of your heart chakra. Relax in the present moment as you contemplate the infinite energy of boundless space and light. Power, life, support, dimension of being. No meditation. Again, developing a state of pure presence where the microcosm and the macrocosm are the same thing. Smile as you bring your awareness in front of your eyes and end your practice by spreading it into your area of practice. Now, the simplicity of this practice is you can teach it to anybody. You don't need to be a lama. But don't enliven on it. The simplicity of the way it's presented is the simplicity of the way it's been preserved for thousands of years in the Chinese and Tibetan and Indian tradition and throughout the Himalayan countries, all the way from Afghanistan to Bhutan. But when you do this practice, it incorporates the theme of the refuge. And how does it do that? It's because you're applying it without judgment, altruistically, to beings in these areas you're visualizing. starting with your own self, you are incorporated many beings into your physical body. Call them what you like, parasites and so forth. But they're there. You know, and we have an electron microscope. I saw a picture of one that's in your eyebrow. And it only lives in the eyebrow. But it's so tiny, it takes an electron microscope and it totally looks alien. But when you move through these various dimensions, the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, the entire universe, you're incorporating everyone that lives in those areas. And that's bodhicitta. And this practice entertains both bodhicittas. The one that deals with the drama world with generosity, morality, patience, perseverance, meditative focus, and the development of insight. All of that is in this practice. Worldly application to reduce stress and dis-ease, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It incorporates all. And where do we go with this in the Tibetan Buddhist tantric tradition is what we call the state of absolute truth. So this deals with the relative truth, the interconnected truth, that everything is interconnected and operating with the same energy program. That's called the relative. The absolute truth is that it's not solid, fixed, and permanent, like we're conditioned to believe. You know, everybody says heaven's permanent. It's not. You know, and some people get the idea they're going to live forever, like teenagers. But this impermanence is based on the illusory, always changing nature of energy itself. And that illusoriness is tantric practice. So when we do tantric practice, we create an energy system in the mind using the imagination and the ability to focus, which is what meditation is for, to see our own body as simply a body of light energy, representing all the qualities and positive aspects of your natural mind, the non-judgmental mind. And we label that bodhisattva. Well, bodhi is the same word as Buddha, but it means, well, my interpretation is one on the way to being a mature human being. Buddha. That statue here is a Buddha statue. These two are bodhisattvas. So Tara and Chenrezig are how we get to this position. And when you adopt this bodhisattva illusory body, it's called rainbow body, jaw loose in Tibetan. It isn't, we're not the only ones that do it. I mean, I used to be a Hindu, I used to be a Sufi and so forth, and even Catholic. Excuse me for saying even. But that they have that same kind of general belief system. But in our case, illusory is applied to everything. But you have to start with your own body because you think this is who you are, and it's not. This is a husk to hold your consciousness for a very, very, very short period of time. If you have good karma, 50 to 100 years, give or take. That's with good karma. Not everybody on the planet has favorable karma. Favorable, unfavorable, this position of illusory connotation changes into the absolute truth of worldly existence. The plants are illusory, the mineral life, elemental mineral life, everything. The sky, the clouds, all the elements, everything's illusory. It's all made of light. And when you say you're an illusory body, bodhisattva symbol, you're incorporating all the best qualities of being a mature human being, like the perfect mother, or like the perfect father. So when we say mother and father, we're thinking male and female energy. But what is the main idea that humans here is we're all here to get it on, you know? That's that. You know, that theme starts to develop in our mind. And as it grows, it takes over. And it's a hormonal thing, not just a mental thing, because it's so embedded in a psyche, our way of being. It's the cause of human birth. And all of us are here because of that. But in the process, it's a blissful experience. Not for everybody. But that's the idea that Tantra has taken on in the Western world, that it's a sexual thing, and it's blissful. Okay, yeah, it's an extraordinary experience. But in our situation, bliss doesn't mean extremely pleasurable. Bliss is beyond that judgment call, what we call pleasure, because pleasure and pain have two results. One is, on the pleasure side, attachment arises. On the pain side, aversion arises. And how do those emotional energies start to come into existence in our minds, somewhere, you know, where the mind is? It's because we like this one, we don't like that one. As soon as you like something, attachment arises. As soon as you don't like something, aversion arises. Now, these emotional energies are not existent. They're illusory. They're only based on a judgment call. They're not self-creating. But they have a unique function of power. And you can experience it. You know, like when you get really lustful, however you want to think about that, your body starts secreting all kinds of juices. That's where the word juicy comes from. But the same as aversion. If you become angry or hateful, then the body starts to secrete a very harmful hormonal substance. So what happens with this process, which actually starts here, is it spreads through your body, and it locks up the energy channels of the body that causes disease. Then, as a byproduct of those two, if you really get what you want, what you're attached to, if you get a lot of it, you start to become proud and arrogant. I'm so good. I got this wealth, I got all this, you know, opposite sex, or I got all this stuff. And then if you don't get what you want, you start to get jealous of somebody that has what you want. So those are the two categories. But all of this is based on simply the ignorance of not understanding the illusory nature of it. So we start. Now, how to do that? Well, three things. The mind, the application in your physical situation of transforming it into this rainbow body creates a different patterning in the body. It affects the hormonal stuff up here in a very positive way. And that's healthy. And then you project those two to the mother that created you. Now that's a big thought right there. That cancels out all the religion that base God as a creator. That belief is okay, but it's only halfway. Your mother is absolutely the one that created you. That's absolutely true. Anything else It's relative truth. And my mother never let me forget that. And when you project your mother as an illusory body equal to you, all sentient beings are your life support system, so they're all your present mothers in that way. But most importantly, they were your mothers in past lives. All these animals, all these human beings, all these spirits are once your mother. Or your lover, if you're going to think of it that way. But however you want to, that's nice, appropriate. But in building a mandala of light and light beings in the Tibet tradition, you apply the application of you as this bodhisattva symbol to everybody, no matter what practice you're doing, sutra or tantra. The only time it changes is when you move into the accomplishment stage of the practice and rest in the present, which doesn't exist. That means you're vanishing. You go to voidness. Voidness is the nature of the universe. Everything comes out of it, the sky goes back to the sky. You want to be literal about it. That's it. You know? And as a result of thinking like this, we have monasteries, nunneries, temples, stupas, they're called churches, and symbols, physical symbols of these, all over the planet. Just for this. So that's the power of it. And when you do this practice with your body, your speech, and your mind, the body is the symbol of the creation aspect of your mind as a sound, a vibratory sound, Sanskrit sound, because that's what the Sanskrit language is based on, vibration. Then that sound escalates into you being whatever male or female aspect of a bodhisattva you want to adopt, according to your lama's instruction. That's what the lama does. And then you apply it to mother and all mother beings. That creates an infinite mandala that fills your mind, and whatever the mind is, the universe is. There's no separation. That in itself is an accomplishment. There's no separation. There's no inside, outside, high, low, good, bad. Everything looks like this, separate, but is actually like this. Together. You say, together. Sit with your back straight, your eyes are shut. And we are going to practice Vajrasattva. Vajrasattva is one of the foundation practices of tantric practice in Tibet Buddhism that accompanies prostrations, making mandala offerings, and what is called Guru Yoga. To me, it's all Guru Yoga. And when we use Vajrasattva, this practice, it is not only to generate the body, the illusory body of the Bodhisattva as a symbol applied to all mother beings, the one that created you and the infinite number of others, but it's also designed to give you an understanding of the power of a mind cleared of drama, bliss. Have the experience of this blissful awareness. Now, the way that I've been trained to use this practice was to think of the compassionate aspect of the loving kindness of the mind of your own mother as the female energy program of accomplishment in Tantra, and the male as the method of how to move that into harmonizing with everyone and the environment. So we have this male and female energy program, yin and yang, if you like. And how we visualize the deity is just like that. So when we use the symbol of the home, this is the idea of no separation. Then that's this Buddha. From that Buddha, Akshobhaya Buddha, he's called, from that energy field, which is the antidote to judgmental mind, we create a male and female deity in sexual union. And the idea of that is that they both have these special qualities and they're mixing them. Okay? And the symbol of this union is the symbol of not only non-separation, it's the symbol of the state of bliss. So you're moving with insight into a state of power bliss. And the insight is accomplished with understanding by the explanation of the Lama. Because this is what all the Lamas do. All of them, men and women, monks and nuns, householders like myself, yogis and yoginis in secluded situations. So when we practice, we're going to use those symbols. Sit with your back straight, eyes in front, mouth closed, hands comfortable, head slightly tilted, and breathe. As before, you do the 3 lights breathing practice, and you add the vibratory sounds that purify one's body, speech, and mind. As you inhale white light into your lungs, you hear the sound Om, which is the vibratory energy of the accomplishment of clarity. As the energy of the air inhaled with that sound Om enters and spreads through your body, you visualize it as red light, and you hear the sound Ah, which is the union of all energy in your mind and in your body. That's with the absorption breath. Then as before, these two together, exhaled out the nose as blue light, as a healing breath to everybody, either with speech or without. And that's the sound Om, the state of total good health. Inhale white light, hear the sound Om. Absorption breath through the body, hear the sound Ah. These in combination is exhaled out the nose, blue light to space, Om. So you're settling into this state of peace and tranquility with the full aspects of your body, speech, and mind transforming into insight, power, and loving kindness with compassion. Then as before, you collect. Take your focus off the breath. Collect the 3 lights has three color codes, white, red, and blue, with the three sounds, Om, Ah, and Om. These all enter into your heart center as a particle connecting to the clear light of space. Relax for a few moments in that dimension of being. It is the foot of meditation, and it is called sunyata, or voidness. Then keeping your focus on the particle, increase it to a small sphere of clear light. Increase that sphere until it creates a 5-colored sphere of light about the size of your thumbnail in the center of your heart chakra. And in the center, inside of that, is the sound Om in whatever color blue you like. And give that vibratory sound, if you can see it as the letter Om, which looks like this. Or better yet, this. Give it thickness. So here's the 5-color sphere, or like this one. And the Hung is in the center. Now this Hung symbolizes this complete state of unity. And this Buddha field of union is exactly visualized as an accomplishment of maturity. And the symbol is the Buddha behind me. So you see that Buddha over your head as your Lama. Then it transforms into Vajrasattva and Vajrayogini in union. And he is holding a Dorje and bell, and she is using knife and skull cut. He is peaceful and she is wrathful. They can both be white, or he can be blue, and she can be any color. That's all up to you in the Lama's instructions. Tonight they're both white. Then you see yourself as this deity. And how this is activated is the Lama who is giving you this instruction is Vajrasattva and Vajrayogini in union as the splendor or totality of the light force of space. And you visualize him in front with all the sources of refuge, all of the lamas, all of the peaceful deities that they use as symbols, and all of the protectors. You can either see him as a refuge tree, or you can see him in vast numbers around you in space. But from the Lama, 3 emanations come into you. And the first one is from the sound Om. And that Om is in the forehead of the Lama in front, and it's blazing white light into your forehead. And as this transmission takes place, you are empowered to be Vajrasattva. Then from the Lama's throat, in fact, red light comes from the sound of Ah, the sound of energy itself. And this is incorporated by visualizing coming into your throat. And this is the empowerment or the mantra, the vibratory sound of compassion, power, and insight used with your speech. And then from the Lama's heart chakra in front, the seat of the phone in blue light emanates into your heart chakra. And this is the emanation of wisdom itself, understanding that everything is totally illusory. And that is the absolute truth of the energy program of this entire universe, without any separation. Once these three lights are shining simultaneously into you, the Lama in front and all of the sources of refuge merge into you, and you become this Bodhisattva symbol, Vajrasattva in union with Vajrayogini. And you see yourself complete, changed from this body into this illusory symbol with silks and jewels and 5-jewel crown and whatever they're holding in their hands, sitting on a lotus sun and moon disk. All of that, once you can get that in your imagination, or think you are that, then place it above your head. This is the place of honor and respect that the Lama, who is your teacher, usually resides. One of the ways of visualizing Guru Yoga. So now this deity is here, life-size. And from the heart center of the deity, from the seats of the home, and from the consort's heart center, from the seats of the mom, light fills their body. And then it comes down into you from their place of sexual union into the Uma channel, which is towards the back of your head, and enters into your head chakra, purifying that area of your body, changing all that drama mind to non-judgmental. Then fills the throat, increasing the power and energy of your speech. And then to your heart chakra area, this whole upper part of your torso, so that all of the wisdom mind is entertained, is available to everyone. Then to your power chakra, this middle part of your body, where your diaphragm moves out and in with the breath. It makes everything understandable as equal. Outside, inside. Animals, human, spirit. All equal. And developing from that truth, equanimity, which means emotional stability. And then the bottom part of your body, the sex chakra, now your body is filled with all of this energy patterning, starting with the mind of the Lama as these two deities, and from their place of union down through you. And once your body is filled with this energy, all the negative is pushed out through the pores and orifices. And however you want to visualize that, coming out, sluicing off the outer part of your body as just as you are, down into the earth. And as soon as it hits golden earth, it becomes nectar and food for the sentient beings living in the earth. Spirits, animals, and so forth. That's how you do this visualization. And the idea is to purify everything negative you ever did in past lives, in this life, everything negative you said, and every negative or harmful thought. Clear. gone, delete, with this process of purification. Then you add the mantra to your speech, so that all this inner patterning that's changing now starts to affect your voice. The mind is purified with the mental process of the practice. The body is purified by the patterning change within the body, the illusory aspect. And the speech is purified with the mantra. And the mantra is circling the home in the heart, the home in the mom, in the heart of Vajrasattva. And then coming down into you as a vibration. So you're using the light and the patterning, or the vibration of the light, as the purification method. And the mantra goes like this. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Denopa, Vita Jido Mebawa, Suto Kayo Mebawa, Suto Kayo Mebawa, Anarato Mebawa, Sarwar Siddhi, Yamtrayata, Sarwar Karma, Sutame, Sittam Sriyam, Guru Om, Taha, Taha, Ho, Bhagavan, Sarwar, Tata, Kata, Vajra, Mame, Mutsa, Vajra, Bhava, Maha, Samaya, Sakta, All. Hung in the heart center. Hung in the heart center up here. Mom in her heart center. The two deities visualized. They're actually Tara and Chenrezig. The mantra circling creates the energy, comes out the point of union, clears you of all negativity. It's blown out of your body and down into the earth, transformed into nectar and bloom. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Vita Jido Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Anurato Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Namtraya Sarva Karma Sustame Sittam Cheyam Guru Om Om Bhagavan Sarva Jata Jata Vajra Mami Vajra Swaha Samaya Om Om Vajradini Vajrasattva Samaya Vajrasattva Denopa Vita Jido Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Anurato Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Namtraya Sarva Karma Sustame Sittam Cheyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Jata Jata Vajra Mami Vajra Om Samaya Om Om Vajradini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Vita Jido Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Anurato Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Namtraya Sarva Karma Sustame Sittam Cheyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Jata Jata Vajra Mami Vajra Samaya Om Vajradini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Vita Jido Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Anurato Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Namtraya Sarva Karma Sustame Sittam Cheyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva saying this mantra, you're visualizing these two purifying your body inside out, all negative past up to the present, deleting this way, transform into positive energy available to others. With the mantra, saying exactly what is appropriate. So that means for everyone. So everyone in your that you applying this to is Vajrasattva, Vajrayogini doing exactly the same thing you want. Your mother, your father, your children, friends, relatives, lovers, enemies, pets, everyone you have karma with. The whole human race, if you like. But the main thing is you're this illusory body transformation process to purify your negative. Up to right now. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenaka Tita Judo Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Anarata Mibhava Sava Siddhi Nandayati Sava Kama Sutta Chitta Shri Guru Om Brahma Om Bhagavad Sarva Jatna Jatna Vajramani Vajramani Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenaka Tita Judo Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Anarata Mibhava Sava Siddhi Nandayati Sava Kama Sutta Chitta Shri Guru Om Sarva Jatna Jatna Vajramani Vajramani Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenaka Tita Judo Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Anarata Mibhava Sava Siddhi Nandayati Sava Kama Sutta Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenaka Tita Judo Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Anarata Mibhava Sava Siddhi Nandayati Sava Kama Sutta Chitta Shri Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Jatna Jatna Vajramani Vajramani Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenaka Tita Judo Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Anarata Mibhava Sava Siddhi Nandayati Sava Kama Sutta Chitta Shri Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Jatna Jatna Vajramani Vajramani Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenaka Tita Judo Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Sutto Kaya Mibhava Anarata Mibhava Sava Siddhi Nandayati Sava Kama Sutta Chitta Shri Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Jatna Jatna Vajramani Om Vajrayani Vajrasattva Samaya Vajrasattva Dhenokha Dita Vedo Mebhava Sutodaya Mebhava Sutodaya Mebhava Anarato Mebhava Sava Siddhi Natraya Sava Kama Sutta Me Siddha Triya Kula Om Ahava Ho Bhagava Sava Dati Gata Vajranami Mansa Vajrama Samaya Om Without the sound of your speech, you see this mantra rotating in the hearts of the two deities, connecting them around the mom and her heart and the home in his heart. And as these circle, they create this energy of clear light which passes from the point of union down through your Uma channel opening. The soft spot in the back of your head is where it is, down into your body in degrees. And you experience bliss in the head, bliss in the throat, bliss in the heart chakra, bliss in the navel, bliss in the sex chakra. All that pushing the energy of all harmful, judgmental mind, drama, anything negative to yourself, others, to the environment, all out through the pores and eyes, all the orifices. And all that sludge, your energy, negative, down into the earth, immediately transforming into nectar, food, whatever is desirable for the animals and spirits in the earth. Not wasted. And as you do this, you think that all sentient beings are doing it with you. Then when you think that, the second part of the practice is to bring the Vajrasattva Vajrayani to replace this husk, this ordinary body, with the bodies of the deity, either just Vajrasattva or both in union. And when you do that, then a short mantra is sounded as the accomplishment of that. And as you do this short mantra, you think your mother, father, all the humans, all the animals, all the spirits are doing this exactly the same way you are. There's no separation. Om Vajrayani Vajrasattva Om Om Vajrayani Vajrasattva 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 Om. Om Vajrasattva, Vajrasattva, 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 Om. Okay. End with K. It means cut, separate judgmental mind, transform all negative into pure awareness, moment to moment present. When you do that, you move to the accomplishment stage, which is the third part of this practice. And it actually is the ending part of all sutra and tantric practice. And how it's accomplished is simply merge all the beings in the universe, animals, spirits, and humans, as this rainbow body visualization of Vajrasattva, Vajrasattva. All of that, them into you. From every direction. Infinite sentient beings streaming into you. Some small as atoms, some large as mountains, all different sizes. And as this takes place, you empty the totality of space into your central symbol. Then Vajrayogini merges into Vajrasattva, and Vajrasattva disappears into the heart mantra. Om Vajrayogini, Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Om, Om. Then the heart mantra, starting with the Om, syllable by syllable, disappears into the Om that we started the practice with, Om and the Om. Into this symbol. And once you have the Om, in this 5-color sphere of light, it either shrinks to the particle entering the totality of space as the microcosm, or expands to the macrocosm of space, or simply disappears. And at that moment, no meditation. Develop presence in the infinite moment of presence, moment-to-moment awareness. And as you rest in this state of voidness, everything becomes appropriate. It is a state of infinite potential. Your thoughts arise, do not attach. Judgments and drama arise, emotional energy arises with the thought. Do not attach. Stay connected to your heart center. Your physical body gives off sensation. Do not attach. They arise, they go away. Thoughts arise, they go away. Just stay present. No judgment necessary. Timeless awareness, arises on its own. Bliss. In this state of mind, you are simply in union with everyone and everything. And simply put, it's okay. At the end of this accomplishment stage of the practice, this third stage, then if you have a yidam practice like Chenrezig, Tara, Manjusri, Medicine Buddha, that's what you use post-meditation. But whenever you recognize your own situation of negative thoughts, words, actions harmful to yourself, others, and the environment arise, then Vajrasattva practice is appropriate. Every day, do 7, 21, or 1 mala, 108, and however many long mantras you do with that visualization, you do that many or more short mantras with the merging meditation of the deity. At the end of the practice, always dissolve into the accomplishment state of clear light or avoidance. Not attaching to whatever arises helps you to attain a state of presence. That is very useful in whatever you say or do. Then dedicate the merit to end the session. Dedicating the merit can be just as simply as wishing that all sentient beings sustain this state called Mahamudra of clear light awareness or presence. Enlightenment, which pertains to everyone. And Mahamudra, which is the great view of the Kagyu tradition, or Dzogchen of the Nyingmapa tradition. I'll read a dedication prayer before we do the one on the refuge tree. And it goes like this. By the power of this practice, and by the power of all virtuous activity, of body, speech, and mind, and through the love and kindness of my parents to me, and the teachings of bodhicittas by my Lama, and my commitment to all my Vajra brothers and sisters of this tradition, and the connection between myself to all men and women, all possessions, and even those of beast and burden from which I take milk and yogurt to drink, and their flesh and blood to eat. To all of these, without leaving one behind, may they quickly reach the sublime and perfect state of accomplishment of maturity in the human realm called Buddhahood. And then on the refuge sheet, bottom of the page in Sanskrit, Kewadi Nirvidam, Shagya Champo Jujerne, Yowa Chinking Malubram, Devi Sala Goparsha, Shage Kusu, Dempai Jumwadam, Choni, Devi, Dempai Jumwadam, Gendu, Niche, Dumpai Jumwaki, Chita, Goma, Homa, Ju, Par, Sho. By this virtue of having realized Mahamudra, may I quickly establish all beings without exception in that state. By the blessing of the three bodies of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of the Dharma itself being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of us, the Son of being unwavering, may this and all dedication prayers be fulfilled. My Tashi prayer is that all the Lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, and may all their wishes be fulfilled. May all beings have happiness, removed from suffering, established in bliss and equanimity by our accomplishment. Amen.